How many times before that teacher got to that escalation did she go to the administrative staff? How many times did she file complaints or say, hey, I need help, and it was never heard?
Yeah.
Or a scary version, the administration staff is aware and they do nothing about it.
Correct.
And that first time or that third time or that 10th time, and that data just gets lost in the atmosphere.
Speak what they feel to say. I don't kneel, I don't fade away. I'm the storm they avoid to face. The unmasked truth in a world.
Hi, friends and family, and welcome back to another episode of Pam and the Purple Couch podcast. Today, we've got a hot topic for you, especially as we're looking at the school year wrapping up and all of this amazing media, or maybe not so amazing media, coming out about the public school system, private school systems, and what about the abuse of our kids? Today, we're going to talk about, is your teacher telling you the whole story? Is the school being honest with you? And if they're not, what do you do as a parent? Ooh, it's a touchy subject.
Hot topic.
I agree.
Hot topic.
But we got to talk about it because nobody else is. Here in our county alone, the number of, I want to phrase this correctly because they've not been convicted.
Accusations.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Accusations that have warranted police interference.
And investigations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Investigations from the school board, investigations from our sheriff, who takes this very seriously. Sheriff 𝘗𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗶 here in Brevard County is no joke. Don't mess with our kids.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter if you're a teacher. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer. It doesn't matter if, you're a caretaker. The safety, well-being, and care of our kids is everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the community getting involved.
Yeah, and most of it comes from not irresponsible parents, but irresponsible teachers that aren't taking accountability for what the child is doing.
Well, and I'm going to play devil's advocate in this conversation today because, number one, being raised in a different generation where, spank the child we didn't hear any of that. Everyone got spanked. It was a thing. We all got spanked during the change and shift in physical behavior versus learning that mentally we can shift our own emotions. It was so funny. The other day, I was reading the reviews, and that's the worst thing you could do. And when we were talking about telling parents, just take a moment and breathe, some guy ran, bullshit. And that he just, random comment, out of the blue. And I was like, oh, you need coherence more than anybody. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of those that I'm like, no other comment except for this is BS. And I'm like,
you could just say in a response to that, breathe, chill out.
Breathe, chill. Maybe you need to breathe a little.
Yeah,
chill.
like not even talking from like a spiritual perspective, but you just call someone BS without any proof. You just sort of chill.
Right. But now let's think about that. I hear with all of this tragedy going on in the school systems, all of these assault charges or investigations, it's like 1 week it's one school, the next week it's another. And this is not just a Florida thing going on. This is a nationwide problem.
Oh, yeah.
I hear it as a cry of help, though, because teachers don't take teaching jobs.
Some teachers just take it for the babysitting job.
Well, it's a very small percentage that take it for getting the summers off.
Right.
Teachers don't go into the teaching field with that mindset. They go because they love kids and they want to make a difference and they want to help. So when I hear a teacher losing patience, roughhousing a child, hands on a child, it's a two-step. One, is this a teacher issue and that's the way that she runs her own home?
Yeah.
We've had that. We've had to dismiss a teacher on site because she grabbed up on a kid's hoodie and pulled him. They were terminated on the spot. We filed. We did everything we were supposed to. And even the police told us, like, we've never met a school that kind of like goes right at it. And we're like, no.
Yeah,
because if you lose in that one moment, what if it was a big crisis? We don't want to be there and we don't ever want to put any of our kids because that means that you yourself didn't learn how to regulate.
Yeah, and what kind of standards would that imply for the all other staff?
You got it. And so sometimes you have to set the example that this is just something you will not tolerate. So now that goes into our conversation. So how many times, I would love to see, but see, this is data that we don't ever get. You only see what's up in the news.
Yep.
How many times before that teacher got to that escalation did she go to the administrative staff? How many times did she file complaints or say, hey, I need help?
Yeah.
And it was never heard.
Yeah.
Or a scary version, the administration staff is aware and they do nothing about it.
Correct.
And that first time or that third time or that 10th time, and that data just gets lost in the atmosphere, right?
And then that is the teacher going to be the one, not the administrator. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's the media looking at, it's the teacher,
Oh,
the
it's
teacher,
the teacher's
teacher.
fault. But the teacher's trying as much as they can, as much as the parent.
Correct.
They're just not getting the correct resources.
And that's a big problem, is that how many of our teachers are we losing because they don't have the support from the administrative team?
It's a team effort.
Yes.
Not to say the word team like 5 times in a row, but...
It is, but it really is. Parent, teacher, administrator, and student all together.
We see this a lot in bullying cases. So a child's being bullied in the classroom, and it's not the first time, it's 100 times, etc. And the teacher's aware. The teacher may have reported it, and they've done a couple interventions, or they've tried a couple things, or whatever. Maybe even moved the kid to a different class, but yet he gets bullied in the hallway or whatever.
Yeah.
But yet the parent knows nothing until it's too late.
Correct.
Because, okay, this is where I'm going to divert just a little bit from the admin to the teacher.
Yes.
Because we said this in a later podcast.
How about this one? You know, I don't know if Manny knows. Loki was the subject of this exact type of situation before we moved him into our academy.
Again, I think we talked about this in an earlier podcast episode. But the entire thing of, like, the child could have, like, the biggest meltdown of all time, yet the teacher will just say, oh, yeah, no, he was fine. It's that miscommunication that usually can result in, like, bad behavior that continues.
Yeah,
Because
that's what Manny's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, for you and your situation is that this was elementary school and you had the wonderful bring home journal. You know, and the teacher would circle the smiley face, the half face, or the unhappy face. And every day it was smiley face. Every day was smiley face. It was every day smiley face.
But
And
that didn't describe anything about what was
Correct.
going on in school.
Correct.
That's too broad.
And in the first grade, that's when all of a sudden, after the first, now he is a great student, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden I get a phone call saying we have to have a parent-teacher meeting. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, we're going to retain him. What? This great student that you said weren't having any problems, you want to retain him in first grade? Why? Well, he's not listening to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in, we have the IEP meeting, and he's stimming. The teacher was writing him up as a behavioral issue because of his stimming. Okay, well, guess what? If we wouldn't have gone into the meeting and if I wouldn't have raised hell, like most parents do, it's not a good meeting. Most of the time, parents feel that they're under attack or they're going to tell you what all you've been doing wrong. And that's where the communication has to come in. Because if it would have been open communication, even in our situation, then it would have been like, well, you understand that that's an organic matter he can't control. Or how about your bullying situation? Hey, Mom, we're going to do these strategies, these interventions within the school, but I want to let you know that Loki's having a hard time. One of the students has targeted him, and we're intervening. But I want you to let you know that maybe you could coach Loki. We're going to be working. Then call the other kid up. Call his parents and say, hey, Manny, I want to let you know that, you know, little Junior here has targeted on one of the older kids, and we're working on it, but you need to be aware of it.
But that barely happens, and do you want to know why?
That's exactly it. It barely happens.
Do you want to know why, though?
Well, one moment. The phone call does happen, but it's when resources is in here because one's punched the other. Now
Yeah.
one's getting expelled. One's getting sent, you know,
It's when it's too late.
Yes.
Yeah, and do you know why it's too late? It's because of the amount of students that a class can have with the teacher. There's so many if there's like if you have a teacher that's trying to control 12 students without any additional help, of course the teacher isn't going to recognize every single student in every
12.
single
Do you
interaction.
realize public schools now have up to 30 kids in one classroom with one teacher?
With elementary?
Yes.
All grade levels.
All classrooms.
Yeah.
The ratios, at least in Florida, is 25 to 1 at kindergarten. So when a child becomes 5 years of age, the ratio, and from 5 all the way up until 19, 20, whatever they graduate, is 25 to 1.
And this,
Yeah. Sorry, this is literally just going to be causing the passenger effect where a kid will punch a kid and he's going to be on the floor, but all the other kids are just going to be walking around where the teacher isn't even going to notice them until it's like they're already screaming.
which is why a lot of the kids that have behavioral problems in the classroom, in these regular ed classrooms, are the subject of they had a bad day, like all day, because that kid that's disruptive or non-compliant or a little passive off task or whatever, they may have done it once or twice during the day, but it took that teacher's sole focus across all the 30.
But then again, that also is also the cause of the more normal 1, 2, 3 grading system where there's no in between, where the teacher can't like give an accurate description of what has happened throughout the entire day, because imagine trying to write a paragraph for like 25 different students.
All right, families, we'll be right back after this special message. At Bridge to Tomorrow Foundation, we are there filling the gaps that federal and state funding doesn't do for all of our neurodivergent families. There's educational, therapy, and support services that are available to our families, but most of them can't afford those services. We need your help today in helping us fund the future for those children. We need a gap. A bridge to get them to where they need to go. So today, help us help them be our future. And now, back to the Purple Couch Podcast. So, families, I love sitting here, letting you all see us communicate raw. We don't pre-film, we don't pre-record, we come up with the subject matter. But his emotional response, his physical response from his language increasing, the sound, his body, at 20, and you don't have children, but you have been so in the situation in the school. So imagine your kids. Imagine your child in that classroom with 24 other kids. Let's just do the 24, because what most families don't realize, well, Pam, you just said it's 25 to 1. Those are the ratios. But when a elementary school does the ratios, they go based on the entire grade divided by how many teachers they have. So one class may have 19, the other one may have 30. Doesn't make it fair. But as we've talked, life is not fair. What we have to do then is to ensure we're advocating for our students. And we are no longer in the generation where you trust the teacher and you trust the doctor. It's sad.
Start just asking for meetings. Like, start asking for, like, hey, be real with me. How has my child been doing? Because it's... children in, like, especially in, like, this year, haven't, like... Hold on. It's hard to keep them independent, if that makes sense. It's hard to have a state where if they're in a classroom, they're going to get in trouble, there's going to be things happening, but the child, again, like we said in earlier podcasts, isn't going to have that conversation with their parent unless, like, prodded about.
Yes.
And so causing that would be unnecessary, so ask it with the teacher itself. And if they don't have a good enough answer, then that means that they aren't getting enough support in general, and the teacher's being overwhelmed by, like, I assume, like, 10 more students than usual.
I can't help but and my poor video production team, I love you all to death because I'm making so many faces listening to you, so I hope they just cut mine out because you're right. Everything that you're saying is right. This is why it's not a teacher issue. It's not a student issue. It is the way we are administrating education to our students.
It's a team issue. Just having communication as a whole helps with this entire situation.
Yes, but if we are going to go to look in ABA terms, what's the antecedent to all this behavior?
Yep.
Overpopulated classrooms, lack of administrative support, and lack of regulation tools given to teachers.
Yeah, it's a system failure.
For
sure.
Exactly. And we're looking at curriculum. It's it's a cookie cutter curriculum, boxed up, one size fits all.
One 25% exceeds, other 75% gets
Correct.
it's all right.
Well, I'll tell you, I was looking into there was a new micro school that's come up and it's getting a lot of advertisement because they spend 2 hours on academics and they spend 4 hours on living and life skills. Sounds familiar, right? But it is a neurotypical school. It's not for our neurodivergent, but they're taking more of a neurodivergent aspect, putting into neurotypical. You know what the issue is? Because I run a neurodivergent school, tuition, $110,000 a year. For those of you all that are listening, we have a year-round school. 10-to-1 ratio is the max at our facilities. And we charge for year-round, all fees, everything included, about $18,000. And this is for neurodivergent families. So you have neurotypical families that are working in this type of new school environment at $110,000 a year. Okay? Guys, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but families in the United States get no tax benefit when sending their children to private school currently. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that we do hear right now our administration is talking about a lot of changes in the public school sector. And it kind of goes right into what we're talking about today. So if we have teachers not being honest with the parents, why? Because either they don't have the time or they're afraid to tell them.
Yes.
That I have 25 kids, I don't have control of the class, and I don't have any help. And guess what? I'm not teaching next year.
And you know why? Because it would sound unprofessional due to the system.
But that's exactly it, due to the system. So instead, you do have teachers that are doing the best they can, that are trying, that are so unregulated that when they finally reach their max capacity, they're exploding.
Yeah, but they have nobody else to ask help to because of the fact that everybody else is also having the same issue. There's no assistance in general.
Well, there is. That's where Manny and I come in. So for the last 3 years, I have gone to conferences and trainers and teachers globally, worldwide, trying to fix this exact problem, which is giving tools and resources to our educators so that when they have to either talk to the administration, talk to parents, or because they love our children and they're doing the best they can, who says that? My son, I believe, right? What do you say, Loki, when I ask you how you doing? I'm doing the best I can, right?
Yeah.
Well, Doc Childress that helped found the Heart Math Institute, do you realize that was his go-to?
Really?
I'm doing the best I can. And the reason that they do that is because it causes self-regulation. You're not putting that additional pressure on you. It's that I'm here, I'm doing the best I can in my energy, in my frequency right now, and that's all that I can ever ask of myself. It's great regulation there. Do you understand?
I never knew.
Trust me either. We found out when we were at the conference a week ago. And I'm looking at Manny when that topic came up. I'm like, wow.
I think you literally wrote Loki on your paper. Yeah.
But it comes back to the teachers do need some resources and tools.
Yeah.
And right now in society, the reason Manny and I have been working so hard is because most of these facilitators, and it's funny, I was listening to one of my own coaches, and she said that there's a difference between a presenter and a facilitator.
Definitely.
A lot of times these schools hire presenters to come in, and they're going to tell you how to make the classroom better, and they're going to tell you
with gusto and whatnot.
Yeah, and you can do this, and you can do this, and then guess what? They walk right out the door. They've taken the district's money. And the teachers are like, well, I had 5 hours to sit in a conference, and thank goodness I wasn't in my class, but I didn't take anything back
what
with me.
What did you learn? Because it feels like fluff.
Yes. And so Manny and I, we are blessed that in July we get to speak at the 𝗷𝗍𝗍𝗍 conference, and that's to educators, administrators, and we're going to let them know we do have a tool for you. I have a tool for you that I can teach you within 2 hours, and you can walk away and start using it today, and you can understand why today the science, the biology, the neuroscience can work in that classroom. Because after 12 years, we have taken the tools that we're doing at Palm Bay, at our elementary school. We just got to sit with all of our elementary teachers that have already been implementing it. And we got the best feedback from one of them last night. When she used to leave, she beat herself up with, what could I do better for that kid? What could I have done better? I could have done this. And she said, Pam, she goes, when I leave, I'm actually not thinking about anything but me when I leave. Do you know that brought me to tears yesterday? Because that means that putting these interventions and strategies in place, our teachers who have 10 neurodivergent, not neurotypical, all variable personalities and learning styles, all in one classroom, and she's not coming home burnout. And we've made that change. So the reason we've worked so hard on this is because we're going to do it at little to no cost. That's right. I know. I just saw him. He woke up on that one. He's like, what? Yes. Because Manny and I both, we have our career. But now what we're doing is we're on a global mission. And the global mission is to make sure that we shift focus from time management to self-management. We need more self-regulation than we need, and how many more tasks can we take on? We're in a society today that it's all about your production. How much can you give me? Same thing with the classrooms. Why do you think they put 25 to 30 kids in the classrooms? Because
More.
And
it's not caring about the state of what comes out. It's just if we could roll the dice on, hey, let's see, 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. Hey, we got a good kid. Put him in the system.
No, that's exactly it. So stop rolling the dice with our kids' future.
Yep.
Give our teachers the tools and resources that they need so that they can then do what their mission is, which is to educate our kids.
Yep.
So we're on the wrap-up stage.
Okay.
So how do we give this to our parents? How do we get that? PamelaFur.com. Okay, guys? info@PamelaFur.com. We can send you resources and tools and tips that you can do simply by sending me an email. Manny and I will respond to you immediately. Whether you are in Nebraska, Maine, Portland, Hong Kong, like Manny will be there presenting in just a couple weeks, you could be in India, South Africa. This all still works. It's all about self-regulation. All about self-regulation. And it doesn't come with a price tag. So, guys, any other tips and tricks for our families as we're wrapping up?
So I'll offer one, as a parent. I'm going to come at this from a parent standpoint, not as a PCBA, but with my variation of ages of my kids, one of the most common trends of all of them was when I get reports from the schools, whether it's grades or interim reports or whatever, and the kids at the daycare, little good day, bad day, or whatever. And I hate those reports because it doesn't tell me much. It doesn't tell me, how are they learning the material? Are they grasping the material? I see a grade, but they don't retain it. They passed it for that moment. So I like to, my suggestion to everybody is when you get these kind of reports, talk to your children about what these reports mean to them. And whether it's a reflection on their experience as a student, as a child. So I bring this to you because of Aiden, my son Aiden, where he got his recent interim report. And I asked him, okay, well, I see the grades. And he thought I was going to be upset because one of the grades is not very good. And I said, well, out of 6 classes, you got 5 out of 6 that you're doing really well.
Give him that appreciation that really hasn't... I'm also saying this because of you, Mom, okay? Being a little bit personal. But the later I got into my grades, the less appreciative it has been on my report card.
Yes.
If that makes sense. I think giving that at least the acknowledgement of, hey, you're doing well, because to be honest, no student has ever cared about a report card unless it's high school. Unless if you're in late middle
Usually
school or high school.
Usually the last couple years of high school.
Yeah. being known to say, hey, you're doing good and I'd like you to keep it up. And just like, that's a way to talk about school without necessarily having to bring it up or anything.
Well, thank you for your that's Loki's wrap up.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What happened with Aiden?
my last bit is, so just in reflection with Aiden, kind of what you're talking about. So I would say, okay, well, 5 out of 6 classes, you're doing great. Tell me about this one. What are you doing, or what are you learning? What's going on in your world, in your experience? Not so much the grade, but what you're going to do moving forward. So he's like, well, the grade is what it is. I'm not studying enough. I don't really understand the material, so I should probably be asking for more help. And that just opened up the conversation with Aiden, not so much about what he did in the past that earned that grade, but what's he going to do moving forward. That's the real data that I think we need. We need that data.
Yes.
So you had a bad day. Well, what are you going to do tomorrow?
And it's the same way with the teachers, is that, okay, maybe we did have a rough morning. Maybe we did have a rough afternoon. But what's the step to make tomorrow a better day?
Yep.
So guys, from our couch to yours, remember, hit the like, subscribe, share this content so we can help as many families spread the word that they're not alone. All right, guys. See you next time.
I speak what they feel.